Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? I'm just going to say it starts on 24 for Kobe. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Good evening. Oh, afternoon. Sorry. I did a video last night, so I'm like, oh, it's evening? No. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Vibrational Actor. I'm your host, Sean Robert Grant. Put the Reverend aside for now. You can never really put the Reverend aside, can you? Anywho, I am happy to have you here. Much to talk about. The Vibrational Actor book. Yes. If you hadn't got your copy, pick it up. There's a link in the description. Like I said, it's just not necessarily a book for actors alone, but for anybody, any type of performer. If you do music, it works, like it really steps into the whole idea of becoming greater for yourself and for your craft. And so I really encourage you. And look, if it ain't for you, get it as a gift for somebody else. But what I wanted to do today is just to continue talking about the concepts within the book and concepts that are born from the book that are on my podcast as well, the actors area. A lot of great information and episodes we have there that you can get into that can really enable you to just develop into this concept. And so today I've got an amazing message for you. And this is neat because I did an episode on this, I want to say about a year and a half ago, maybe sooner. But anywho, it was so important because this is something everybody should be moving towards. But there are steps to take to get to it. Okay? There's steps to take to get to it. And so I've laid out 3 steps that I'm going to show you that you can take to make your success automatic. All right. And the biggest one, which I will get to in just a bit, is really and truthfully understanding what it is that you want. Okay. So with that being said, let's get into this. If you have any questions, put it into the comments. Write to me. Let me give you that real quick. If you have any questions, you can write to me at seang04gmail.com. But other than that, if you want to interact, so just keep in mind the streaming that I'm using kind of delays any comments from Facebook and YouTube. So just give me some time and I'll get to it. Even if I have to come back to it afterwards, I can do that. But all things aside, communicate, correspond. That's what it all comes down to, okay? So let's get into this. Starting off, so vibrational actor, making success automatic as an actor. And you know what we talked about here just a few moments ago is that you have to know what you want, right? So what does that mean? That means define your success. What is success to you as an actor? Okay, and this is important because the problem is if you don't define your success for yourself, you'll define it according to someone else is a definition of success. And so no two people are the same, right? What I really want you to understand is that just being famous doesn't make you, or isn't necessarily everybody's definition of success. Being busy all the time working isn't everybody's definition of success, right? You have to decide what your definition of success is. For me, my definition of success is working on jobs that resonate with my soul and my spiritual growth and bringing as much value as possible from my experience. And I've lived that, and I've lived it many times over, so I can stand here and proudly say I am a success in acting, right? I'm a success within this industry by my own standards. So the great thing about this is you become truly confident in who you are as a performer and what you've done, right? Comparison is a flat out effing thief. It'll steal your joy. It'll steal the idea of the progress that you made. Why? Because comparison makes you either feel superior or inferior to somebody else. And that's BS. All that does is just take away from the true happiness that you have if you have to compare yourself. We're all in this in a creative aspect, doing the very best we can, producing what we have from within us. And success is going to look different to other people in many different walks of life, So I came across somebody one time. He was a really, really sweet guy. And he truly loved acting at its core, right? He truly loved acting at its core, and he loved everything about it. But he was so content and happy just doing community theater, right? Just the whole idea of doing the fall play, the fall production, the winter production, the summer production, the spring production, and just focusing on that was all that he needed. When he wasn't working there, he would go to a job, do his job. He was completely happy as long as he got to perform in these community theater productions, because it gave him a sense of purpose within his own art. And to me, and to this man himself, he is a success. Why? Because his heart, his mind, and his spirit all align together in what he chooses to do. And that is so important, guys. That is so important. Look, if your idea of success is you doing a ton of short films all year long, that's awesome. It's still films. It's still acting. You are a success. Remember, it's your definition, not anybody else's. Your definition. I can't tell you what success is for you, right? Don't get so caught up. I had students for a long time, and I always felt like the end goal for a lot of them, even without knowing, was get as big as possible, be in these magazines and stuff like that. And that's terrific. That's amazing if you get it. But ultimately, what connects to your heart, right? And this gets back to the vibrational act of the book, a heart-centered approach. Why? Because your heart knows exactly what you need. Your heart knows if you need to be famous, if you need to be on the red carpet, if you need to be standing in front of 20,000 people giving a speech. Your heart knows that, and your heart is going to give you that if that is your highest calling, if that is your highest good. If not, your heart may say, couple jobs a year, right? Study in an acting class that challenges you, open an improv studio, write for one of these publications that are really great to help other actors out. It can be so many different things, but the objective is to connect to your heart to find out what is success to you as an actor, as an entertainer, as a performer. Define it, and you go from there. All right. Number 2, only take divinely guided action as an actor. Okay, so these are all spiritual-based principles because I am a spiritual-based individual, right? So when I say only take guided action as an actor, if you've read the book already, if you've gotten the book, a big part of this is intuition. I even started off with literally a letter that my higher self, my guides wrote to me, and it shows me what type of action to take. And I got a story for you. So I had an audition one time, and this just goes to show you how on point intuition is, right? And how if you follow it, you will be in a great position to succeed greater than you could ever think, right? So this is an example. I once had to go into an audition. Oh, hello, just kicked over my chair. I once had an audition to go to, and I was getting ready, getting everything together, planning my day around it. And so all of a sudden, I, get ready to roll, get into my car, and I turn my car on, and I try to put in the location that I'm attempting to go to. And it won't come up, right? It just won't come up. I'm like, oh, that's weird. So I try again, won't come up. I try one more time, won't come up. I cut my phone off and then turn it back on, try again, it won't come up. I'm like, well, let me try and see if I can put in something else. I put in Publix, which is a grocery store in South Florida, if you're familiar, comes right up. I put in a restaurant that we went to recently, comes right up, right? So all of a sudden, will say, okay, that comes up. Let me put back in the address that I wanted. Didn't come up, right? Idled the entire time. So I stopped. I put the phone down. I took a deep breath. I said, okay, am I divinely guided to go to this audition, or is it in my highest good to not? And I got the answer. I got the confirmation through feeling. I got the confirmation through hearing my inner guidance. And it wasn't in my highest good to go at that time. And I never questioned it. I said, you know what? I can accept this. I'm an intuitive being. I understand that sometimes there's things that I can't see physically that my divine guidance is trying to stop me from stepping into. And if I listen, I benefit. If I don't, I suffer, right? So I listened to that. And immediately I felt a sense of peace, which tells me I made the right decision. So this is just one aspect, but this goes for every single thing that you do within your career. Is it an intuitive action? Is it a divinely guided action for you? Or are we just taking frivolous action, going all over the place, just doing stuff just to be doing stuff, right? Because here's the thing. A lot of times we find ourselves chasing. And we forget that life is a matter of balance. And so if there's no balance, if we're just chasing and pushing, we're pushing away the thing that very well wants to come to us because we're pressing, right? One of the biggest misconceptions that I had to kind of figure out when I was in LA was that it's not a numbers game when it comes to acting. It's not a numbers game. I want you, if you feel that way, I want you to get that out of your consciousness now, because here's the thing. When you think it's a numbers game, you find yourself going to audition after audition, and sometimes not even making any headway. And I did that. And I was like, okay, something's got to give. Then I came to the understanding that, okay, it's not a numbers game. It's about me connecting and understanding what job is in my highest good for me to do, right? What role is completely right and resonant for me. And when I find that, and I ask my inner guidance and it tells me, okay, this is what you need to do, then I can move forward with it, right? But it's never about, right? You waste time, you waste energy, you waste mental fortitude when you're just going audition after audition, or, frivolous action. Only move from a place of inspired action if it feels right within and it resonates with you. Take action, right? Because that's your intuition saying, okay, we've got something here. Let's hit it. Let's get it moving. Let's get it rolling, okay? Simple and easy, straight to the point, right? Always move from a place of divinely ordered, guided action, intuition, if you want to call it that, as an actor, because you will succeed, because everything that's considered a waste is no longer an issue when you decide to do that. All right? Perfect. Moving on. Number 3 here. Allow your success to come to you. Don't chase it. Okay? So this is a really important point to drive home. You remember how I talked about just a minute ago how chasing, pressing? What happens? When you chase something, what usually happens when you chase something? This is just pure logic, life logic. You chase something, it runs away from you. That goes for every single thing in this universe. When you chase something, it's likely to run away from you. So what do? We don't chase, especially when we know we are electromagnetic beings, which means what? We're magnets, right? We're magnets. We embody success within. We define what success means to us. We take inspired divine action. And what happens? Our success comes to us. Right? Now, I'm not saying, and it could happen because it has happened, that you're just sitting on the couch eating popcorn, not really doing anything. All of a sudden, a role pops up. That's actually happened before. That's happened to me before, but it's, it took some time. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but at the same time, when you take your inspired action and it doesn't seem like anything happens immediately right after that, what you do is you take what we call a siesta, or a beat rather, in acting terms. You take a beat and then you allow that success to come full circle. And all you got to do is be patient. All you got to do is trust. All you got to do is know in your heart that eventually success is yours, because it is, right? You wouldn't be in this if you didn't have the passion for it, if you didn't have the drive for it, and you just take a moment, you relax into it, and then you wait until your intuition guides you to take the next step, right? And that's all it is. That's all that it comes down to as it relates to not chasing, right? Universe works in balance. It is incessant. I said this on my Heart of Christ ministry message. It's incessant at restoring balance at every single moment throughout the day. So if it knows that you're desperate for something, if it knows that you're attached to something, here's what's going to happen. It's going to move it away from you, because in order for it to keep the balance, it's got to restore the symmetry within that situation, within that area. So in knowing that, build everything you need on the inside. Listen for your guidance. Ask. In the book, we have affirmations that talk about asking, right? What would my heart's guidance tell me today that's in my highest good as it relates to my acting career? Ask that question every single morning, and then wait and see what shows up and surrender to it, right? Don't. A lot of times, and this kind of reminded me, of back in LA, so I'll just give you the whole process. So you go there with so much enthusiasm, so much excitement, right? You begin to think about all these ways you're going to hit your career from all these different angles. And so you begin doing what everybody else is doing, which is going to an absolutely breakneck number of meetings, auditions, and workshops and stuff like that. And what tends to happen is over time, you just lose your zest. Do you know, I was always curious to find out, I know how many people actually go to Los Angeles, but I'm so curious to find out how many people actually leave because of the plan of action that they had didn't really work out in a sustainable way, because they used up their energy driving, never taking the time to just kind of relax and sit with their center and allow intuition to guide them into what mattered the most for them, for their life, for their careers, right? I'm curious to know that, but it's a matter of understanding you're not going to waste any energy. You're going to use your energy to your advantage. You're going to use your assets, right? The things that have the ability to make you the most successful. That is your intuition. That is your ability to decide, your ability to make a decision, your ability to remain open, your ability to be still and not feel like you're desperate after something, because there's so much desperation. That's why so many people fall into victimization and things that aren't really good for them as it relates to acting, right? So it's up to us to understand, okay, let's really dive within. And that's why I really wrote this book, because what can we do to dive within, right? That's going to help us to be the very best that we can in acting in life, right? What are the highest actions? What are the most powerful, the most vibratory actions that we can take as it relates to our career? And just be open and receptive to those, right? Because when you're open and receptive to those, you get one after the other, after the other, after the other. And before you know it, guess what? Bada bing, bada boom. Everything works out. You're on point. You're taking action, and you find yourself at the right place at the right time with the right people, doing the right things in the right roles, doing exactly what you choose to do. And I'm telling you guys, it's so simple. It's not always easy, but it's so simple because what you're doing is you're separating yourself from the idea that you have to do what everybody else has to do. Right? You're separating yourself because you're not doing everything else that everyone else has to do. And that's all to it, right? And that's how the divine works. Understand you have an infinite power available, ready and willing to show you how to proceed. That's going to make you be in the very best position possible. And I can tell you because I lived it. I'm living it right now, right? I'm living it right now. I defined my success and what it is I wanted as an actor, and I was patient enough, and I'm continuing to be patient enough to wait for when the opportunity comes, to always stay ready, to always to be on point with it. And then it happens. And everybody else is like, oh, it's a surprise where you came from, but you've been kind of waiting in the wings, being patient, knowing that day would come, right? So with that being said, those three things, keep this video, replay it, study it. That is what makes success automatic, right? Is being able to have that balance between those three concepts and allowing it to work in your life easily, effortlessly, and allowing things to unfold in a way that's always going to benefit you. Guys, that wraps up today's message. Once again, if you'd like to check out the book, I think it's worth it. We got Kindle, we got Paperback. The description is the link is in the description. Any feedback you got, write to me, SeanG04@gmail.com. What else? I think that's about it. So thank you for joining us today. And I appreciate you tuning in. Success is yours. Success is automatic. You just got to know how to go after it. You just got to know how to create the right opportunities for you. And that lies within yourself. I'm telling you, it's all there. You are already a success. It's just a matter of tapping into it. And I'm sure we will be back soon here with another episode of The Vibrational Actor. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. It is a true pleasure. Have a wonderful afternoon. We will talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye.